How you doing?
That's to me. I am doing great. I'm doing so great. I'm excited about our conversation today. And I'm happy that we're here for the 16th edition of the Liberated Pussy podcast. I know it's going to get better and bigger and broader. Like I'm feeling like maybe how Michael Jackson felt right before he went on stage at the Ed Sullivan show to sing what is that? I Want You Back, or whatever that
Yeah.
first song was. You know, like right at
To
the
sing what?
precipice.
To sing what?
Yes, yes. You see that? You see my walk? Yes.
That's
All of
hilarious.
those things that it stand for. Hello, I'm here for all of that. All of that. So
Yes.
yeah, I got my watch earrings. So before we get started talking about full moon goddess time and the magic of all of that and renaming our situation, knowing how powerful names are, let's talk about the moon and the universe, because we got the moon mama on the line. It just makes sense to do so. So can you frame our conversation from a universal standpoint, from a moon manifestation standpoint, and how nature works with what we're talking about?
Okay, so thank you for that. Let me, I don't know where I am right now. It's so weird because I'm like, oh, I haven't looked at the astrology today. Like I haven't, like I'm in this interesting sort of place. So the moon is in Libra. I do know that, and the moon is really the core of our. The moon is like the universal minute hand, is what I would say. The moon is the minute hand, and it gives us this experience of time that is not at all like the way we move with time in our clock system, right? In our Western way of being with time. So the moon is always changing phases. The moon currently is in the last quarter phase in Libra. So we are beginning a new moon cycle. So this is the beginning of the next 28-day cycle.
Okay.
And so we're going to have a new moon in Capricorn, and we're going to have a full moon in Leo. So the energy of Capricorn is about your structures and discipline and focus. And it is the energy for clearing. So one of the things that I've been noticed, like since we hit winter, my body has been detoxing a lot. Like just releasing all, like, because it's winter time. So it's like relaxing and releasing all of the energy and things that built up over the year are now, it's time for us to hibernate, to give ourselves an opportunity to rest so that our bodies can clear themselves. So we have that going on. We have a new moon in Capricorn, and so it's an opportunity for us to set intentions around authority. Like, if it's one thing I think is the most important thing in our lives as individuals, but especially as women, because it's not something we've been trained or taught to do, but to stand in our own authority. And how that looks, it's very subtle, is you always have the authority, whether you think you do or not, you have it. Sometimes that authority was diluted early in life, like, by religion. Maybe you were taught that you need a savior in order to have access to God. That would diminish your own personal authority, because in that instance, you are casting your authority onto another figure other than yourself, but you're giving it to them. It's no one can take it from you. You're giving it to them.
You've been convinced to give it. You don't even realize that you did that.
Right. That's right. And so that's just one example. It's when I was a little girl, I used to have hives and canker sores and all these body things that were going on, and my grandmother would take me to the doctor. That was her giving her authority away to the doctor to say what is wrong, rather than talking to me, witnessing me, understanding, the nuances of, well, this, her mother upset her and now she's having these hives. Oh, that's the connection, right? So now we want to deal with how she is experiencing her mother, her perception of her mother, so that we can help her gain her own authority over her body, over her nervous system, right? This is authority. And it's a very subtle subconscious thing that is extraordinarily powerful. And so this is the month, this is the new moon where we want to set an intention to gain more power in our lives. And what that means always is, where are you giving your power away? so that's just a little,
always
little
the question.
thing. Yes.
That is absolutely perfect for this conversation. Okay.
Yay.
So everyone, today we are talking about a condition, and I'm putting my little parentheses up, or a time in life that has been packaged to women as menopause. Okay. Now for us, we're taking the men out of it. And we love men, you know that. We truly love men. But this time of life has nothing to do with menopause. Like even men cease to have men in it. And I know that the Latin word and the root and all of that, frankly, I don't care. We are renaming this because we know the power in a name. Just like in Kwanzaa, we talked about Kujichagulia, which is one of my favorite principles, which is to name for ourselves and to call ourselves and to create for ourselves the experiences that we want to have. And this is what we're doing with this very special time in a woman's life. We're renaming it Full Moon Goddess Time. Like we just talked about the moon going through a 28-day cycle, and we know many women follow a 28-day cycle that is linked to the moon. I wish I knew that as a little girl. I really didn't get the connection between my cycle and the moon until I was well at the ending days of my cycle. So now we're calling menopause Full Moon Goddess Time. You don't have to go through those physical bodily changes. You're going to go through some other changes, but not the changes with bleeding and releasing and the egg and, you know, all of the things that your body does when it is preparing to harbor and grow a baby. Now we're our baby. We get to be our own baby, and we get to keep all of that goodness for ourselves. So Full Moon Goddess Time is nothing to fear. As we know, what you talked about, how we give authority to those who told us how this experience of life is going to be. They're, you know, like the dull and drum of it all. Oh my God, the hot flashes, the night sweats. I see hot flashes and night sweats as the same thing. It's getting hot and cooling down. So basically I'm calling that power surges. It's either a daytime power surge or it's a nighttime power surge. And what do you get to do with power and energy? Direct it where you would like it to go. Direct it to your healing, direct it to your heart, direct it to your loved ones. But you don't have to just sit with it in an uncomfortable way. I'm talking about shifting our mindset and how we think about it and how we use it. So, you know, I bet folks wish they could get a power surge to put lights up in their house, or a power surge to make their car go forward, or a power surge to work on a business idea or anything. Think of it as a power surge. Now, when we talk about irregular, what do you think about that before I go on? What do you think about the whole power surge thing and Full Moon Goddess Time?
Well, the thing that I find really valuable is that as I have become a grown-ass woman, and I have watched many women go through what we call menopause, what we are rebranding as Full Moon Goddess Time. And it's been really, like, I have so many women I can just imagine in my mind right now, like watching them begin to sweat and watching them resist and fight and go to war. Or the times in my own life, I didn't have that sort of experience of hot flashes. I had a couple, but it just wasn't a challenge for me. But I remember when I was still having my moon time, when I was still bleeding every month, there were times when my period or my moon time would do something different than it had done for several months. And I would go to war with it. I would be at odds with it. Like, how come it's coming every 25 days now? Or how come I missed it? Or, you know, I spent so much time. It's really remarkable now. I spent so much time being at war with my body, trying not to get pregnant, trying to end a pregnancy, like all of these things that are really at the core about our creative power.
Gosh.
And so I watch myself, and I've watched so many women, and continue to, even though it's changing, be at war with our bodies because
Mm-hmm.
we don't understand what's really happening. We don't
Mm-hmm.
really have a clear prescription. We don't have a clear mastery. We don't have a clear sense of the wisdom that's in our bodies. So
Mm-hmm.
it's literally like leaving money on the table,
Mm-hmm.
millions of dollars. It's
Mm-hmm.
like somebody gives you a pot of money and you're like, oh, I'm only take $15, but there's $3.5 million there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we don't understand ourselves, what we're really doing is missing opportunities to own ourselves, to evolve ourselves, to become more fully ourselves. So that's the thing that I find interesting about what I just heard you say, like
Okay.
how
To
I've
use
experienced it.
ourselves for ourselves,
Yes,
you know. We
yes.
weren't we weren't taught how to do that from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. And think about when you first got your cycle. It might, and many of us, it might have not been seen necessarily as a positive thing. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
talked about from a standpoint of, oh, you're a very powerful creator, you have the ability to do this. It was seen as almost a burden and negative, and the funky things they say, the curse, and all other kind of things that
Right,
just don't make no sense. Like the curse, like the thing that actually brings every human on the planet, we're going to call the curse, like the
right,
blood of life that flows through everybody's body comes from their mother's womb, and they're going to call it that. It just doesn't make
right.
sense.
Yes,
Doesn't
it
make
really
sense.
it's such a fascinating thing how the a curse, but also you're told. I know I was told by my grandmother, it's just don't have sex.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not told the benefit of it,
Mm-hmm.
how what's really happening in your
Mm-hmm.
body. I was told, and a lot of women I know were told, just don't have sex, just
Mm-hmm.
don't bring no babies home, right?
Right, right.
When you're not even thinking of that.
Yeah, it's like, what?
You almost don't associate that, oh, this new experience means that I can now get pregnant, because there's
Mm-hmm.
not been any education in the 10 years
Mm-hmm.
before that
Yeah.
would prepare you for this experience. There's not been the
Mm-hmm.
education and the information and the wisdom given so that you really understand the magic of what it
Mm-hmm.
means to become capable of reproducing yourself.
Yes. I was with my grandmother when I got my cycle, and I remember as we were in the bathroom and she was helping me clean up and things, the whole crux of her conversation was don't be nasty. Like the whole thing was nastiness, as we
Mm-hmm.
washing underwear and she's washing me kind of rough like you would wash a table or something. It's just
Mm-hmm.
don't be nasty. And I'm thinking, nasty? Like what was the difference between yesterday and today? Like
Right,
nasty.
right.
So, and I understand that was how they were coded and how they were reared and raised.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel nasty, but I just thought it was interesting that was the conversation. I felt embarrassed is how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I felt embarrassed. So imagine the war with our bodies as little girls starting right there at the
Yes.
beginning of a beautiful time in terms of how we see it, how we see ourselves, how we deal with it. And if you're a woman who experiences tough cycles, and I'll say this, I'm 53 years old, and so I would classify myself as perimenopausal because I still have, or peri-full moon goddess, because I still have a cycle. It's just not every 28 days. It might be every 45 days or whatever. So I'm in the process, but my attitude about it is different.
Yes.
And my health up until now has been different, so that the experience can be more enjoyable.
Yes.
All of that counts. All of that matters.
Yes.
Okay.
It
So I
truly
liken
does.
it to fruit that's ripening on the vine.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of it as fruit, and if you let a peach if you don't pick it, and then it just falls to the ground and you don't pick it up and it just rots.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what you do with the power that we have and not use it. Like you said about the money in the basket that you're not utilizing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you pick it and you understand it and you enjoy it and you ingest it and you plant the seeds and and it's a gift that keeps on giving if you understand what it actually is.
Yes.
So
Yes.
even the hot flashes, many know that I do hair, I do locks. That's one of my many things. And I've experienced women when they're having a power surge, the heat coming off of their head, if I had my glasses on, would fog my glasses. It was that powerful. And I'm like, oh, we hot. You know, I'm taking the cape off of them. And she was
Yeah.
like, oh, you know me so well. No, I literally can feel you.
Yes.
You know, if you could stand
Yes.
back, you could see the waves coming off them. And as I thought about it, I was like, women are really, really powerful. Like, we're
Yes.
really, really powerful to create that kind of heat.
Yes.
So why not use it?
Yes.
Why let it ride and act like it's a problem? Why not use the power? It has to be cultivated, just like if you have a lightning bolt that just goes crazy. But if you utilize, if you cultivate it, and if you connect with it, you can direct it where you need it to be.
Right. The thing that stands out is that we've been taught by men. You know, I remember when I first started going to the doctor to have exams, like pap smears and things like that. Men.
Yeah.
They were men. And, you know, it's like they have been the writers of our stories.
Right.
And so it doesn't benefit them to have us know our power, right? To know how to heal ourselves, to know how to channel our power. It doesn't benefit the collective system
agenda, the agenda.
Right, it doesn't. And so many of us are just afraid or at odds or in resistance to it. But the thing that's been so fascinating for me is that the more I learn to get into my body, and you're a dancer, and so I think you have probably a unique experience than most women, but I lived in my head. You know, all of my energy was always in my head with overthinking and worrying and doubting and internal dialogues and conversations. I was completely cut off from my body. And as I have done the work to heal the trauma and to create new narratives, and I feel my energy coming into my body, it is a process of literally energetically rising up the energy from our root and sacral chakra. Because one of the things that I used to experience that I really had to look at was whenever I would meet, not always, but you know, oftentimes I would meet men, and there would be an immediate sexual draw. And at some point I started really questioning that, like, why is it all, why are they always trying to fuck? You know what I mean? Like, that was, I mean, like, but because I understood that I was creating my life, I started asking, what is it that I'm doing that is generating this experience? And once I started to realize that my energy was trapped in my root and sacral chakra. So you
were sending out fuck vibes, and they was picking it up. They was like, okay, yes.
Right. It was an invisible thing, right? An unconscious thing, because I wasn't truly embodied. I was caught in the lower realms of my own system, in that root chakra and in that sacral chakra. So all of the energy that I was putting out was, like you said, fuck vibes. But when I started to realize that and started understanding that we have a whole system in our body that is not just the root and the sacral, which the root is, our ability to feel safe and secure in this realm. And then the sacral is our ability to access pleasure. But without having intention, without opening our hearts, without being able to speak our truth, without being able to see ourselves fully as we really are, then that energy gets trapped in that sacral sexual space. Right. So I had to do the work and I'm still doing it, to bring myself into alignment so that I could lift that energy out of that sexual energy and bring it up. And it's been a process. It's been a process of of like recognizing and taking responsibility that, oh, it's me that's generating this, and then beginning to change my own behavior, change my own internal narratives around sex, and then beginning to invite the men that are in my life into a new experience, into something that is greater than a sexual experience, and understanding that I can create that. Like, that doesn't mean I have to go do what the Western narratives around love and romance, or it doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
that I need to get married. It means that I need to understand my own energetic system and that I am generating these experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I do something different?
Ashe. And for the folks listening, it's no judgment around any of the chakras. All of the chakras are equally important. So the lower chakra, the sacral chakra, the upper chakras, what Monique is saying is she wanted balance. It's when you're out of balance is where it feels like you're not in alignment. So it's no judgment on sex or sexuality or any of that, because we love all of that.
Right.
We just seek to have greater balance so that we can have greater outcomes that are in alignment with what we say we desire.
Yes.
And that's what we're talking about, the power to do this. Now, really great point about how the stories were set and the narratives that were given to us weren't in alignment with the things that are going to make us powerful. They were in alignment of really keeping us in a, I don't want to call it a trap. I want to call it just kind of a cog in the wheel, just kind of playing the role.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
It's like, okay, you're a baby making machine, and once you can no longer have babies, and your usefulness is no longer valid to us. Is that what y'all are saying?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That, okay, you're gonna have low libido, gonna have brain fog, gonna have insomnia, and all these kinds of things. It's like, no, the body is an intelligent system. She's an intelligent system that is calling us, literally calling us to our magic.
Yes.
If we will listen to that still quiet voice and do something different.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to hear and feel those things and then be subject to the doctors and the medicine and all that, then you'll walk that path. And it, you know, it can be a treacherous path, and, you know, we pray for you. Or you can take a different choice of hearing your body and dealing with your hormones that may be out of balance and getting into some herbal knowledge, hearing your body that's crying for more movement and putting your body into more movement, so then perhaps you can rest better. The brain fog, thinking about that. Maybe you need to meditate. Maybe by the time you're 50-some years old, you've had a lot of experiences, a lot of memories, a lot has been coursed through your being. It's time to relax and be quiet and be still so that you can get into, who am I really? What do I really want? Just asking yourself those questions is a healing process. It begins a healing process.
It truly does. And it is, so many of us, we really don't know what we want.
So how can you get it if you don't even know?
And what I think one of the other things that's been really interesting, you know, maturing, is that you know this too, I believe, is that as we mature as women, our sexual energy gets stronger.
Ashe. I'm here to say that's why I'm wearing the WAP earrings. Hello. Hello.
Our sexual energy gets stronger, where men energy tends to decline. Our energies tend to increase.
Right.
So to keep us in a space of being detached from our bodies and at war with our bodies is truly a keeping us out of our power, because as my sexual energy has increased, I literally am like, okay, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? I mean, by the time I got to be like 45, I mean, there were times where my sexual energy was like, what? Like, it would be like, I need to pull over on the side of the road and
take care of this real quick.
and take care of this so I can make it home. You know what I mean? Like it's a very, the intensity of our power, the intensity of our sexual energy is so consuming.
It can be.
Yes, it can be. And so it's important for us to really begin to relate to it. And I see another thing that I see is that women, oftentimes as we mature, we let go of our sexual desire. Like we just resign to not having physical, emotional, and sexual experiences that are fulfilling to us. Like
well, they may not be feeling well. So if you think of someone who may have now low energy because they're taking medicine or not moving a lot or not spending time meditating, they're not feeling good in their body. Maybe they have low self-esteem. They haven't done the work to be able to enjoy this beautiful time. So we're saying we are doing the work, and we're inviting goddesses to do the work with us, no matter where you are in the process, no matter how how you've gotten here, because you will get here. All you got to do is keep living. You'll
That's
get
right.
here.
Yes.
Do you want to be powerful and empowered,
Yes.
or do you want to be subject to the bullshit that has been told to us since we first had our first period? You know, like,
Yes.
oh God, when you get there, it's gonna suck. No, it don't have to suck.
Yes.
At least not that way.
Right. It can suck in other ways, right? One of the things that's also funny to me is sometimes when I'm on social media, there have been a couple times where I see younger women speaking about, like, you know, oh, it was an older woman. She was like 50 or something like that, or, you know, and what I want to say to young women is that I didn't know nothing when I was 30 years old or 35. I knew nothing about what pleasure really was, and how to actually be a vessel of love within myself. I had no idea how to do all the sex that I was having at that time was performative.
Yes. They don't know what they don't know.
That's
so
right.
We have the benefit for having walked that path already and having, you know, raised children and done things like, oh, okay, I got it. But they don't know. You know, they're talking from their place of knowledge, and that's fine. Maybe they're helping somebody 20. But they can't say shit to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's important that we begin to partner with young women so that they can know. And so, you know, this group is not just for women who are in, you know, Goddess Gathering is not just for those of us who are, you know, on the other side or in our full moon goddess phase, but it's for women who are still in their reproductive years.
Yes.
Because when you are sitting with women who have wisdom, who can actually teach you something, who've experienced something, then you can really begin to benefit early from your body, from your connection to yourself, from your ability to love yourself, from your ability and desire to share your body with another, and to understand that this is a magic experience. It's not about it's not about what we think it is. I feel like that's the thing, that we don't understand what sex really is. We've not really been taught.
We're scratching
the
surface, and I think I'm figuring it out now. I'm just getting to the place where I'm understanding.
Yes.
I'm just getting there. This is how it was done back in the day. And when I speak back in the day, I'm talking about how the indigenous did it. The mothers, the grandmothers taught the young women. They taught the girls.
Yes.
We weren't subject to doctors and hospitals and the medical industry to tell us how to take care of our bodies and how we're going to progress through the life cycle of being the wombed ones. The wombed ones walked each other through. We midwifed ourselves through the practice. And that's what we're calling ourselves back to doing. Like, all right, sisters, come on. Let's gather around the fire. Let's learn something tonight. Let's talk. Let's share tonight.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing. We're talking about how we can make this time of life as magical as you want it to be.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes
to be a woman right now on the planet is a very unique thing, because we have more choices than our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers had. We can live our lives according to who we want to be. We don't have to. We can be a mother and a wife, but we can be so much more than a mother and a wife. Or you don't even have to be a mother and a wife. You can just decide that I'm going to use I'm going to use my energy to do as I say, as I see fit for myself. And I love that as women, that we have all of these options now. And one of the things that I'm becoming more aware of is that I used to have this lover who would always say, men are subject to women. He would say it in a way without fully explaining himself, you know, but I just could feel it. And what I know is that when women change, men have to change. There's just no other way. When women decide that they are going to love themselves and they're going to prioritize their health and their wellness and their happiness, and they're going to take responsibility for it, they're not going to make their happiness somebody else's responsibility. When women do that, because we are the magnet, it pulls men to us. And they have to change because we are the portal to the eternal. And men, I mean, and it's such an interesting thing, you know, men who have not cultivated their own power, all men are subject to us, but men, when they've not cultivated their own power, are especially subject to their sexual desire, to their biology. You know, and so I think that's a really important thing, because there was a time when I was younger, and like I said, I would always attract men, and it would always be about this sexual thing. And I remember I used to say, having a pussy is like being a rich person. You never know if people want you for your money or if they really like you.
They just want some pussy. Or do you really like pussy?
You know, you could be, I'd be standing around talking to a man, and I might think that we're having a conversation about something that has absolutely nothing to do with anything around sex. And then it comes back around to, you know, so what's up with that pussy?
I had a friend who said that too. He put it this way. He said, being a rich man is like being a pretty woman, you know, like it's the draw. That's the magnetism. Yeah. So it's the same thing, but you're saying you don't know if they really like you. That's the thing. We want to know. We want to know that you really like us. It's not that you just want us for sex.
Right. But the thing is that they're biologically created that way. You know what I mean? Like their energy is externalized. They're more subject to that biology of that sexual desire in a way that women are not, because we have an internal system and they have an external system. So my point being is that when we are in control and mastery of ourselves, because they are so subject to us, like, and this might sound like a low ball, but I'm just giving an example. Like when you have an animal, your animal is subject to you feeding them. They cannot do it for themselves, right? If you don't open that food and put it on, they're assed out. So as women, we have to understand that men are biologically subject to that external sexual pull. And so that is how it is, unless they really elevate themselves, unless they raise their frequency and come out of that extraordinary pull towards sexual reproduction. So if they are not going to do it, when we raise our own vibration and come into the heart, then they are forced.
It raises it for everyone.
That's right.
They'll be better. We'll be better. We'll get what we want. You can't do it from underneath the ship going, oh, why can't I have what I want? And you're like not even in your power. That's like you got to get in your power and get what you want, sisters. And this is what we're talking about. This is the awakening of the goddess. How do you do this? How do you do this at this time of life? The most powerful time of life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right. And it is profound self-love. Like I love how you just said you can't do it from the bottom of the ship. You can't do it complaining or thinking, you know, he just won't, or you know, you keep meeting the same type of man over and over and over again, where at the beginning you have this powerful sexual pull and connection, and then, you know, once you give them what they desire, their behavior begins to shift because they are biologically programmed to that end. So if we don't raise the bar and we make that be the prize, and the prize is not, you know, your fullness, like who you, but you have to make yourself the prize. You have to do the work. You have to do the work, right? And if you don't do the work, then you and your partners are trapped in those lower realms. Ashe.
So this is the work that benefits you, body, mind, and spirit. All these symptoms and things that they're talking about, you literally have the ability to affect all of that. From your sleep to your weight gain to your libido, all of that. You have the ability to shift and direct and create the experience that you desire in this time of your life. It's a powerful place. Are you going to let the fruit rot? Or are you going to pick it up and use it?
Yes.
All of it. The
Yes.
seeds, the skin, the flesh, the juice.
Yes.
It's here for us to use, goddesses.
Yes.
And the goddess
Yes.
will come along because the goddess has gotten herself together.
That's right. And because the men are subject to us.
That's how it works.
That's right. Because we have the portal, we have the pussy.
We have the
they are subject.
Pussy.
Right.
And it's liberated. Hello.
That's right. And they are subject to us. So when we free ourselves, we actually help them get free also.
Ashe.
And that is what we have to understand. But you cannot do it at the level of the problem.
No.
You have
You got to get
rise above. Yes.
Ashe. You got to get higher. And so that's what we're talking about in Goddess Gathering, one of the many things. And it's really an embodied practice as well, with goddesses all over the world really getting into our power to shift these lives and these bodies that we're in today, and to utilize our magic that is right here at our fingertips, right here in front of our face. This is what we're doing. So we have a beautiful retreat scheduled for 2024. Yes. We're going to Bali. We're taking goddesses to Bali, doing powerful work there. And we're doing powerful work every week, every Thursday. We're on, what we call it, live streaming, doing this work together every week. So don't feel like it's not available to you, because literally it's right here. It's right here.
That's right. And you have to invest in yourself. I think one of the best things that I've ever done in my life, at the time I didn't feel like I had a choice, and I understand, but I could have chose something else, but I chose to do the work to heal myself. I started very early in my 20s. Like, I need to get clear. And I started being devoted to myself, and I started investing in myself. I started taking classes. And, one of the things that I see in this role, that women are often, they want an immediate fix. And all I can say is that there is no fucking immediate fix.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that in this dimension. Perhaps when we shift to the next one, you get the immediacy. But we came here to Earth to, kind of work and create it. That's this journey.
That's right.
So let's do it. We're doing it. And, let's do it together.
Yeah.
You need powerful women to raise powerful women.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Powerful melanated women. We're the power source. We're the original mitochondria. We're your mama's mama's mamas.
That's right.
Okay. We got those who are guiding us, and we are called to bring those along so that they can guide the next generation of our daughters, our sisters, our nieces. So that is what we're about, ladies. That's what we're about. And every stage of this life can be as magical as you desire. As beautiful as you desire.
That's right. That's right. So we meet tonight. You guys can register in our link trees. It's the Goddess Gathering. It's $77 a month. We meet every Thursday, practicing rituals, dance, understanding, like having an opportunity to share the depths of ourselves. Because we have to create safe spaces where we can actually be transparent. If you're not willing, women who are like, I don't have women friends and I don't talk, like, that's you. That is you. Like,
you're hiding.
That's right. And you're hiding, and you are denying yourself access to your power, because you really cannot access it without other women. We are clannish by nature. Like, men are biologically subject to their sexual nature. Women are biologically subject to our emotional nature. And so we need one another. We need to reflect one another. And we need women who are going to bring us to a higher realm. Women who are not going to sit around talking shit about men. That stuff is so boring. Women who are, when you come to for the fourth or fifth time and you're like, he did this and he did that. Women who are going to hold you accountable for your relationships with men and not blame them, not blame men for what you are experiencing. Really understanding that I'm experiencing this because maybe I'm running a karmic code. Maybe I'm holding my mother's trauma. Maybe this is my great, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, really understanding that it is you. It is not him.
Yes.
And he is simply a reflection of your
of
own.
you.
Of you. That's right.
of you. That's the work we do. That's the work. That's the healing. That's the love we do.
Yes, that's
That's the
right.
love we do.
That's right. And
So,
it's no shame. No, we're
no,
not here to shame. I have been in some of the most precarious experiences with men, and I've been able to come to my sisters and be like, this happened. And they will sit with me and be like, you know, they might be like, oh, that was fucked up. Yes, we can do that for a minute. But then soon they will say, well, how did you create this?
Yeah, how are we going to elevate? Like, shit.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, all right.
Thank you for a beautiful conversation. Thank you for everyone who watched us live. Like Mo said, click our link trees for more information about the offerings, the retreats, and the weekly goddess gathering. We love you. To all the liberated pussies around the world, let's change the planet. Yeah.
Peace and blessings, everyone. I love you, Adina. I'll talk to you later.
Love you too, Mama.